Cheers, what it is, what it ain't. It's yours truly, Likquidcash, and right now you're watching Dropping Jewels. And this segment is called Success Leave Clues. In this episode, I'll be looking back at the lives of iconic figures who left their marks on the world in a major way to gain a high level of success while they was here. In this first episode, it's all about none other than the most iconic, legendary artist that ever lived, Tupac Shakur. Cheers. They say the sins of the father will be passed on. I'ma spend every dollar till the cash gone. Hope they remember my name once I pass on. I'ma leave you some jewels you can latch on.
All this risk that niggas try to make me go through, I'ma make them feel the fire like I got to feel the fire. And that's real. Everybody can't understand that. They don't understand a black thing. It's gonna stay black. I'm not finna act right just cause y'all want me to act right. I'ma buy Benz cause that's what niggas do. You understand me? I'ma smoke weed cause that's what niggas do. I'ma pack a gat cause that's what niggas do. You understand me? I'ma
Yeah.
cause that's what niggas do. You understand me? I'm not gonna change just cause motherfuckers got money.
Man, listen, man. Tupac was a wild boy. Tupac was a wild boy. He said it how he felt it, and he mean what he said, you know what I mean? He spoke from the heart with a lot of passion. Listen, this is gonna be a dope series. It's gonna be something new. It's gonna be iconic, of course, because I believe there's a lot of people that were successful in their lives and they left some clues. Yeah, success leave clues. And someone told me a long time ago that a wise man learns from others' mistakes, you know, and we also can learn from their successes. So I wanted to dive deep and get, into the lives of these iconic people that have left a lot of clues on planet Earth that we can use today. And it's only right that I start off with the legendary, iconic Tupac Shakur. You feel me? He was one of my favorite rappers. I don't think nobody touched my soul more than Tupac. The only person that came close was DMX. But there was nobody like Pac, man. He spoke with passion, conviction. He meant every word he said. And sometimes his words got him in trouble. But you know what? He never lied to you. He kept it all the way real. He was too real for TV, if you ask me, man. You dig? So it's only right that I start off with Pac, because Pac just kept it the rawest, and he is the epitome of just real, you dig? So it was only right, man. Like I said again, we start off with Tupac, and I believe a lot of these iconic figures, man, left a lot of jewels. And if we really search and we really look and we dive deep into their lives, we can find some jewels that we can use today. So listen, I want y'all to stay tuned all the way to the end, because I got 5 jewels that you can use in your life today to gain you a high level of success. You might not be like Pac, but you will definitely, be close enough. And if you can gain a fraction of his success, just a fraction, man, I think you're doing pretty good, you know what I mean? Because Tupac did a lot, man. But let's start off with where Tupac's from. Tupac was born in East Harlem. You dig? New York City, yes. I know a lot of y'all think Tupac is from the West Coast. For y'all that don't know, man, Tupac is from the East Coast, man. He was born in Harlem, know what I mean? June 16, 1971. Yeah, he was an 80s baby, man. You know, a lot of things was going on back then, man. When you was coming up in the 70s and the 80s, it's a lot going on, man. You feel me? Crack epidemic. Yeah, it was really some spooky times. It wasn't no easy road to walk. You feel me? But he grew like a rose from the concrete. You dig? But he died at a young age of 25, September 13, 1996. But listen, he did so much in that short period of time, man. Let's break down the things that Tupac did. Number 1, Tupac dropped 5 albums while he was still alive. Yeah, 5 albums while he was breathing, 6 after his death. His first album was called Tupacalypse Now. Know what I mean? He dropped that in 91. Then he dropped Strictly for My Niggas in 1993. His third album was Me Against the World. He dropped that in 1995. Then he dropped All Eyes on Me in 1996, which is a smash, you feel me? And then after that, he dropped the Illuminati. You dig? The 7 Day Theory. He dropped that in 1996. One of my favorite albums, man. One of my favorite albums. And that's when he changed his name to Machiavelli. See, you got to pay attention to that. He reinvented himself after he got shot up, came out of jail. He said, man, I'm going to reinvent myself and change my whole swag, change everything up. And he turned himself into Machiavelli, you dig? And that album was said to be written in 7 days. He finished that whole album in 7 days, which was crazy to me because it was a classic album, you dig? And after that, of course, they released 6 more albums, which of course made that 11 albums in total. Tupac sold about 75 million records. Now that's big, man. 75 million records as a solo artist is major, you dig? And I don't think, artists right now that's breathing haven't sold a fraction of that, you know what I mean? So y'all gotta understand, he was a beast on the mic, man, you dig? So listen, also, during all of this, he dropped some movies too. Yeah, Tupac was an actor as well, for those that don't know, man. Yeah, his first movie was Juice. He starred in that in 1992, which is a classic, one of my favorite movies, man. Of course, he was starring with Omar Epps, a few other people, man. But that was a classic movie, you dig? I think everybody should go watch that, Juice. And also, it makes you realize life can be crazy. You got to watch your friends because you already know your enemies, but you got to watch your friends too because your friends can become your enemies. And we see it happen all the time where your friends become your enemies. Then after that, of course, he dropped another movie called Poetic Justice. Classic movie. Classic, man. He was starring with Janet Jackson in that movie. That was a dope movie. It definitely allowed more people to, get to know who he was and see a different side of him. Because in Juice, he was, basically a gangster. You know what I mean? A backstabber. His who he portrayed wasn't who he really was. But a lot of people kind of confuse that portrayal of that particular character with who he was as a person, which was definitely false. Now, did he have characteristics that may be similar? Maybe, I don't know. I never met him. But I could see how you could confuse the two, you dig? But Poetic Justice, he was a mailman in that one, so it gave a different, a different range of his versatility. And after that, he dropped Above the Rim. He was a gangster again. Yeah, a gangster called Birdie. Definitely gangster in that movie. That's one of my favorite as well. If you're a basketball lover, you'll definitely appreciate that movie. You dig? He dropped that in 1994. Then after that, he dropped Gridlock and Gang Related in 1997. Now check this out, man. Tupac did all of that before the age of 26, man. You dig? Now think about that, man. You probably 30, 40, 50, whatever. You know what I mean? But you haven't done a fraction of that. You might even be 22, 23, but you still ain't on the way to do a fraction of that. So we got to understand, how did he come up from those humble beginnings and rose to greatness and stardom? There's a lot of layers to it. It's a lot of jewels in his story, but we always want to focus on the negative. I want to focus on the positive. I want to focus on the good things that Tupac, did, because if we talk about the negative, we'll be here all day. You know what I mean? Because of course, he was only human, so he falls short of the glory of God a lot of times. And a lot of times it was because of his big mouth. He always spoke with passion. He always spoke what was on his mind. And sometimes you just got to just not say everything that's on your mind. And also he sometimes associate with the wrong people. And some of those people, did a lot of things that some would say backstabbing things that caused him to, end up in jail later on in his years. So, he been through a lot, man. But no matter what adversity that he went through, he was able to do all this shit with all of the trauma and all of the adversities that was coming towards him at a speed of light. You dig? He was able to do all of this shit with the pressure on his back, getting sued, going to jail, being shot, being robbed. He was still able to be highly productive, which is damn near impossible for most people to do. To be dealing with so much drama, so much stress, so much adversity, and still be creative, still be able to record one of the most, arguably the best album ever written before in history, which is Machiavelli, which is the Dawn Illuminati, the 7-Day Theory, one of the best albums ever written. And he was doing all of that while being, I don't want to say too much because I don't want to get myself in trouble, because, you know what I mean, you got to be easy how you speak about Tupac, because you never know, the powers that be is still watching. You feel me? So he was being watched by many. Y'all can kind of understand what I mean when I say that. He was being watched by the powers that be. He was being hated on by the dudes. He was being, loved by the women. So, he was dealing with a lot, man. But he was still able to be productive, creative, and able to drop classic albums and also star in classic movies, man. What's your excuse on why you not doing classic shit? What's your excuse on why you not being productive as you should be? What's the excuse why you ain't finished that book that you was working on? What's your excuse on why you ain't finished that movie that you said you was gonna finish? That script that you said you was gonna write? That book that you said you was gonna read? You know what I mean? That interview that you said you was gonna go on that you never did, man. You did? Tupac have done so much by the age of 25. I mean, Quincy Jones once said, if Malcolm X died at the age of 25, he would have been a hustler by the name of Detroit Red, and none of us would have ever known his name. And if Martin Luther King had died at the age of 25, he would have been a local Baptist preacher that nobody knew. And if he had passed away at the age of 25, he would have been a struggling trumpet player and a broke composer if he died at the age of 25. Tupac did things that would take people lifetimes to actually accomplish. They would have to die and come back 10 lifetimes just to accomplish a fraction of what he did. That's what makes him iconic. That's what makes him legendary. What's gonna make you iconic? What's gonna make you legendary? What are the things that you're gonna do that's gonna make you stand out from the bunch? See, this is the reason why he said he was like a rose that grew from a concrete, because in those days, in the 70s, dealing with the fact that his mom was a Black Panther, he came from that upbringing, that put a certain target on his back. So he was met with more adversity than the average person that didn't grow up in a Black Panther home. You dig? So dealing with so much adversity, a target being on his back at a young age, man, for him to actually rise to the occasion, and become the person he was, man, I gotta take my head off to that, man. You dig? Because for me, he made me a believer. He made me believe that anything is possible. Yeah, he made me believe a rose can actually grow from a concrete, man. And it don't matter where you came from. It don't matter your situation. It don't matter what's going on in the world. You can actually be great. You can actually apply yourself and be one of the most iconic figures that ever lived. You dig? Despite all the distraction, despite what anybody might say, despite you know what I mean, all of the hate, the negativity that's going on in the world, you can be that rose that grow from that concrete, man. You know, that's what he did for me. He made me a believer, because coming up in the Bahamas, you know, for me, hip hop was my father, my mother, my companion, my OG. You know, hip hop was everything to me, man. I learned everything I know from hip hop. I used to read, you know, the Vibe magazine, Sauce magazine. You know, I learned so much from hip hop music, you know. And today, a lot of kids are learning from hip hop music and actually growing up from, you know, hip hop. You know what I mean? They're becoming to be men and women by listening to hip hop. Because a lot of times y'all parents don't talk to us about certain things, you know. Like, my parents never told me about the birds and the bees, man. They never talked to me about sex. They never talked to me about a lot of things. So you know what I do? I go watch BET, I'll go watch MTV. I watch certain artists that I like and I gravitate towards too, and I learn from them. And a lot of us learn from the artists that we like, you know. So in some sort of way, they become our teachers, they become our guru. And that's what happened to me. You know, Tupac was one of my gurus. You know, there was many. There was Jay-Z, there was Nas, there was Biggie, there was Supercat, there was Shabba, there was Bob Marley, so many iconic figures that was my teachers along the way. And I learned and I took a piece from each one of them and I applied it in my life. And some things that I felt that was unnecessary, I just didn't apply. But the things that I felt that I wanted to resonate with and I wanted to be a part of my characteristic, I applied in my life, you dig? And like I said again, Tupac was one of the illest nigga that ever did it. So it was only right I start off this particular Success Leave Clues with Tupac because, like I said to you, man, he's my favorite artist. And of course, I'll be talking about other iconic figures as well. But let's dive deep into, some of the things that I've learned from Tupac, you dig? Because I want these episodes to be short and sweet. I don't want these episodes to be long. I want it to be, just something that you can digest. You can listen to real quick while you're on the fly, while you're moving through your day to day, and you can definitely gain a high level of, information that can possibly help you on your journey to gain a certain level of success. Now, there's 5 clues that Tupac left that if anybody applied today, they will gain a higher level of success. I want y'all to get a pen and a piece of paper and write some of this down because it might be some news you can use. Now, number 1, Tupac was a sponge for knowledge, man. That's number 1. He was a sponge for knowledge. He was an avid reader. Tupac read more than the average person. That's what made him so iconic. But not only did he read, he also applied what he read into his life. You can hear it in the music that he wrote. You can hear it in the songs and the movies that he starred in, you dig? He always applied what he read in his life. And he understood one thing, like he said. He understood this one particular thing. Knowledge is power, but only if it's used. If you can't use the knowledge that you've gained, then it's really useless. It's information that shouldn't even be stored in your memory bank because you're not even applying it. You're not even using it. You dig? So you got to be able to use the knowledge that you learned or you read in a book. You dig? And it made him eventually, it turned him into a leader because all leaders are readers and all readers become leaders. You dig? See, because he had the information, it turned him into a leader. He wasn't programmed by somebody else's ideology. He was programmed by the information that he learned and stored in his memory bank, and it made him become who he was. See, a lot of times people get information, right, from TV, from Instagram, from the government or whoever, and you think that's reality, but a lot of times, a lot of that should be fluff. So you got to go search for the knowledge. You got to go search for the information that you need, and you apply the things that sound right with you, and you use discernment. You don't just take everything as face value. You read it with discernment. Very important, all right? Number 2, Tupac was extremely confident. He was confident in his ability, and most importantly, the thing that I learned about Tupac when I did my research, he started before he was ready. You dig? Yeah, he started before he's ready because he understood this key principle. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start in order to be great. That's a key principle that you got to understand and apply in your life. Don't just understand that. I want you to understand that. You don't have to be great to start, but you got to start in order to be great. The third jewel that Tupac left, that if you apply today in your life, you could gain a high level of success, is this. Tupac was an extreme risk taker. Yeah, he played the cards he was dealt. He didn't complain about nothing, man. From being a backup dancer in the group The Digital Underground to signing a record label with Death Row to get out of jail. Listen, man, Tupac turned shit into sugar and turned lemons into lemonade. He didn't complain about it, man. You dig? He was so big and iconic that he made you believe that he was the owner of Death Row. He made you believe that there was no other groups on Death Row. Tupac was only with Death Row for 9 months. But his time there was so iconic that it made you feel like he spent all of his career being on Death Row. But he was only there for 9 months, but he did so much in that 9 months that it overshadowed all the other artists that was on the label. Tupac was a beast, man. He turned shit into sugar and made lemonade out of lemons, man. That's just how he was moving. He did whatever he could with whatever he had. He didn't complain about nothing. He made it happen. A lot of you niggas out there complaining about not having this, not having that. And you ain't making no moves. You ain't really doing nothing You know, iconic. You're not doing nothing legendary. You're not making no moves. You complaining about what you don't got. Come on, man. Don't need to cry about this shit, man. Crying only adds to the flood. You got to make it happen regardless of what, you know what I mean? Life don't owe you nothing. Nobody owe you nothing. You got to make it happen regardless, man. And he made it happen regardless. He was a risk taker. He didn't have much, so he had to go out there and make it happen. You dig? He was a backup dancer for Digital Underground. Come on, man. Yeah. He had to do what he had to do to get the way he needed to be, man. And that's what made Tupac so iconic. And number 4, the number 4 jewel that Tupac left, man, he was a visionary. Yeah, he was a visionary. He always thought in the future tense. You dig? He lived his future in his present. He always taught in the future tense. You could hear it in the song. He made a song, R.I.P. Biggie Smalls, before Biggie was dead. Come on, man. Who does that? That was Illmatic, man. Nobody do nothing like that, man. He did a whole song talking about the death of Biggie Smalls before Biggie even died. So he always spoke in future tense. He was a visionary. He had depth of vision. That was the illest thing about Tupac, man. You dig? You gotta have vision. You can't be out here just, you know what I mean, dealing with all the bullshit and not looking past it and understanding that there's so much more beyond that or what you see. You always got to see the cup half full, not half empty, you dig? Tupac was a visionary. Yeah, you got to add that to your list, man. You dig? Add that to your motherfucking list. Make sure that you live your future in your present. Yeah. And last but not least, the 5th jewel that you can apply today. Listen, man, you could also learn from his mistakes. See, Tupac always spoke death in his music. He spoke that so much that he damn near manifested that in his life. So you got to understand, man, you got to watch your thoughts because they become your words. Watch your words because they become your actions. Watch your actions because they become your habits. Watch your habits because it becomes your character. And watch your character because it becomes your destiny. You dig? So you have to be mindful of the words that you speak. That leads me to let you know about this book called Hung by the Tongue. It's a dope book. You got to get that because it's going to give you some of that insight that you need to let you understand that your tongue is powerful. Pause for you freaky niggas. Your words is very powerful, so you got to be mindful of your words. See, listen, you could always learn from someone's mistakes, you dig? But also learn from their successes. So I had to say that and let y'all know that, yeah, man, Tupac spoke death in his music so much that he manifested it in his life. So you always want to speak life. You always want to talk about prosperity. You always want to speak about abundance. You don't want to speak death in your life. So you have to be mindful of the things that you say. Like I said again, be mindful of your thoughts because they become your words, and watch your words because they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character, and watch your character because it becomes your destiny. And ultimately, he predicted his death just by speaking it so much, you know what I mean? Yeah, he basically he manifested his demise. And you don't want to do that. You always want to speak life. You don't want to manifest your demise. So like I said again, there's so much that you can learn from Tupac. There's so much jewels, there's so much information, there's so much that I can say, but I don't want to give y'all too much. I just want to give y'all just enough so you can basically apply it in your life and you can definitely gain a high level of success. Because like I said again, success leaves clues. All these iconic people that have lived and gained a high level of success, we can learn from them. We can't just look at what they did wrong and talk about all the downfalls and the mistakes they made. Nah, I want to commend them for all the good things they did, and I want to learn from all the good things that they put out there, you dig? And also, Tupac was a lover of women as well. Although he was a victim of a woman's scorn, he still loved women. He also did songs that, you know what I mean, uplift women, like Brenda Got a Baby, Keep Your Head Up, Dear Mama. Come on, man, Unconditional Love. Tupac did a lot of iconic songs to represent women. But of course, he got those songs that says bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. You know what I mean? He got those songs too. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. But he was a Gemini, so you got to understand the duality in his personality, you dig? But there's a lot that you can learn from Tupac as well when it comes to women. I know a lot of y'all niggas ain't got the type of swag that he got, so you'll never be a Tupac, but at least there's some things that you can learn as well about his movements when it comes to women. And the things that I learned about Tupac when it comes to women is that he kept it all the way real. You know what I mean? He kept it sometimes too real, but that's just who he was. He kept it real. He always kept two and impossible. He treat women like spades. He always had one and another one. He was married for like a couple months when he went to jail, got out, got divorced, and he was single again. I mean, Tupac was a wild boy. He was doing all kind of shit, you dig? And that's the type of lifestyle he was living, man. But he also, showed his love and affection, and he was very in tune with his emotion when it comes to women, because regardless of what he went through, regardless of him being scorned, he never was bitter towards women. He always spoke highly about them. Some of you dudes been through a bad breakup and y'all feel like y'all jaded for life. Some of you dudes just got a baby mother that's stressing y'all out and y'all still jaded. Y'all been out of the relationship for 10 years and you still messed up about it. You still fucked up about it. Listen, man, she been out your life for 10 years. Why you tripping about it, man? You know what I mean? Tupac got a charge and went to jail, did a damn near a year. You know what I mean? And he still came out praising women and still came out speaking highly about women, you dig? So we got to learn from those things, man. He didn't let that make him feel jaded and start thinking about or start acting negatively towards women. He still did those songs to uplift women regardless of what he went through, you dig? So let that shit go, man. Of course your baby mama stressing you out and she pissing you off, but let that shit go, man. Of course you going through a lot of bullshit with the women that, you've been with in your past, man, but let that shit go, man. You dig? Some of y'all niggas be too jaded about these women, man. Y'all gotta, you dig? Come on, man. Just the other day, a guy, shot some people in LVAC, and I heard it was about a woman, you know what I mean? A female that he wasn't even involved with. He wasn't even in a relationship with this female, man. And he went and killed the manager, you dig, over this female. Because he got action and he didn't have action, you know what I mean? The manager got action at the female, he didn't have action at the female, and he went spaz out and, you know what I mean, had one of those pissy fit and, killed the nigga over nothing. You feel me? So I say that to say this, man, let that shit go, man. You know what I mean? I don't care what you got going on. I don't care how you feeling about the situation, man. It is what it is, man. It ain't no time to be jaded. It ain't no time to be affected by what a female did, man. Let that shit go and move on, man. You dig? Tupac went through hell and high water with women, man, and he let that shit go, and he came out here and he dropped classic albums and did classic movies after that, you dig? Stop holding on to the grudges and stop holding on to shit that somebody did to you in the past, you dig? Let's move forward, you dig? And build. Know what I mean? So like I said again, we got 4 jewels that you can learn from Tupac when it comes to women. Yeah, I got more, man. Don't think it's over yet, man. I got a little bit more, man. Like I said again, I dissected his life. I went and dug deep and I went and found some jewels like I feel that some of y'all can use, man. You know what I mean? There's 4 things that made Tupac appealing to women. And I think if you apply these things in your life, and you'll be appealing to women as well. And number 1, Tupac was charismatic, man. And he had a lot of personality. That's number 1. Very charismatic. See, you don't got no charisma. You gotta have charisma, man. You gotta have personality. You can't be a stiff guy. You can't be a guy with no personality and think women is gonna find you appealing. You gotta have charisma. That's the one thing Tupac had over all the rappers. Ain't nobody was more charismatic than Tupac. Nobody had a bigger personality than Tupac. So you gotta be charismatic. I don't know how you gonna do it. I don't know where you gonna find it. Hit me up. You might can be able to get some jewels you can use, and I can give you some tips on how to be more charismatic and have a bigger personality. But some of this shit you can't teach. You gotta be born with it. It gotta be in you, not on you, you dig? So, but definitely, you definitely need to apply that into your life, man. Be more charismatic, have more of a personality, you dig? Have a sense of humor. Women love niggas that know how to make them smile, you dig? So you gotta have a little bit of that with you, you know what I mean? And number 2, Tupac was extremely confident, man. He was extremely confident. Yeah, you gotta be confident in yourself, man. You gotta be sure of yourself. When you go to approach a woman, you gotta approach her with confidence. The moment you stutter, you lost it. That's it. If you're trying to get a woman number and you don't approach with confidence and you try to ask for the number, but you stutter, that's it. You ain't gonna get the number. She can smell you like a greyhound. She can smell you like, you know what I mean, like a shark. She know when you got confidence and when you don't got confidence, man. You dig? So you have to be extremely confident. That's one of the jewels that I realized that made Tupac so appealing to most women. He was knocking everything down because he was extremely confident, and women love a confident man. And number 3, you gotta have this one right here, man. You gotta have a little bit of street with you. See, Tupac was street, but he was, he still was able to articulate himself in a way that most men couldn't do it at that time, you know what I mean? He was able to articulate himself in a way that most guys couldn't do it back then, man. You know what I mean? Niggas wasn't talking like Tupac, man. Niggas wasn't intelligent like Pac. Half of them rappers you see right now, man, shit, they wasn't intelligent when they were 25. They wasn't able to articulate themselves the way Pac was able to, speak to a woman and be on interviews and really speak with a high level of intelligence. Yeah, and that was the illest part that made him so appealing to women. He was a street dude with a certain type of edge, but he was still intelligent. He knew how to articulate his words in a way that most guys couldn't do it back then, man. Yeah, he was an extremely intelligent guy. See, women love a street dude with some intelligence with him, you feel me? See, he can go to the hood and be comfortable and be cool and be smooth and be respected, but also can go to the corporate world and handle his business. Women love guys that know how to play both sides. They love them. That's why I do so well with women, man, because I'm a street nigga, but I'm also intelligent. You feel me? So that's why women gravitate towards me. That's why they love my dirty drawers. That's why they love me like they love any artist out there, you dig? Fucking with me is like fucking with, one of these iconic figures that I'm speaking about right now, man, because I move with a certain intelligence. I move with a certain swagger, confidence, personality that get women captivated, you dig? See, to make yourself more appealing to women, man, you gotta have a little bit of edge on you, but you gotta have a head on your shoulder as well, you dig? So it's important to apply these things in your life. Don't just be a street nigga and be a dumb nigga, you feel me? Nah, that ain't cool. That ain't never been appealing. That ain't never been attractive to women. To be a dumb street nigga, you could be a gangster, you can be a gangbanger, but you gotta be knowledgeable as well, you dig? Yeah, no, not because a street nigga don't mean you need to be dumb. Know what I mean? Not because you a street nigga, that don't mean you don't need to read. Not because you a street nigga doesn't mean you don't need to go to school or go to college or go to high school and learn something. You could be a gangster and learn shit too, but women love an intelligent gangster. Understand that. She love an intelligent gangster, man. Yeah, most definitely, man. And number 4, last but not least, man, Tupac made himself a high value man. That's what he did that made him so appealing to women. He was a high value man. And how did he make himself a high value man? He took the jewels in the game that he had and he applied it to his day-to-day life and became one of the most iconic figures that ever lived, known to man today, you dig? Yeah, he took his gift that was given by God, being an artist, being a rapper, being creative, and he put it out there to the world and he applied himself. Yeah, his mom was a Black Panther. Yeah, he didn't know his father, but he still applied himself. He still made it happen no matter what. He made himself a high value man, regardless of his circumstances, regardless of where he was born, regardless of how much he didn't have. He turned shit into sugar and turned water into wine. He made himself a high value man. He didn't complain about what was going on, man. He made it happen, you dig? Made himself a self-made millionaire. You dig? Gun-toting swinger pistols in the air. Today, Tupac will be considered a high-value man because he turned shit into sugar and turned water into wine. Know what I mean? Yeah. It don't matter where he was coming from. He understood where he needed to go. He understood the mission. I gotta get my paper right, man. I gotta get my paper right. He took his talents and he made something of himself, you dig? So that's what you gotta do. You gotta take your talents and make something of yourself. You know what I mean? That's what's gonna make you more appealing to the woman. Take your talents and make something of yourself. Stop chasing women right now if you ain't got your money right. Stop looking for the next thing to smash if you know you gotta go get your money right. If you know you gotta go take care of your business, you gotta handle certain things, do that. The women are gonna come once you start making the money. They ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. Women are being born rapidly, at a rapid pace. You dig? I think there's more women than men on the planet Earth right now. They not going nowhere. Make yourself a high value man. Go get your money right. Focus on what you want to do. Start you a career. Know what I mean? Go get you a career, man. And then the women are going to come and chase you. It's going to be no problem. You got to swat them off like flies. That's how you, come on, man. It ain't in you, man. So you gotta get it in you. It ain't in you. Some people, they don't need nothing. They don't have to have cars. They don't have to have jewelry. They don't have to have anything, and they can get bitches, man. Just like me, it's in me, not on me. I don't have to have jewelry, cars. I could be broke as a joke, and I still get the baddest bitch. Why? Because I got charisma. I got confidence. I got something that you can't teach nobody to have. I got that it factor. They love my aura. They love my persona. They love everything about me. So all this shit right here is a plus. The jewelry, the cars, the money, that's just a plus. But other than that, man, I don't need none of that to go get me a bitch, man. But you do. Understand that, but you do. So go get your money right, all right? Turn yourself into a high value man. Pipe yourself up. Yeah, pipe yourself up. And then go holler at a female. Then go looking for the females. But other than that, man, if you ain't doing that, shit, man. Don't get mad if the bitches look past you and go fuck with a flyer dude, you know what I mean? Like I said, man, success leave clues. Those are some of the jewels that I picked up along the way from Tupac Shakur, and I wanted to share with y'all, man. Like I said again, Tupac was an iconic figure. I believe there's a lot of iconic people that came, saw, and conquered. You dig? Gain a high level of success, man. And I believe if you apply some of the things that they definitely did, then you'll gain a high level of success as well. It might not be the exact same, but at least you'll be able to be close enough. And listen, man, to gain a fraction of what Tupac did, shit, you're doing great, man. I appreciate you for watching this episode. So listen, man, I want y'all to stay locked in. Keep watching these Success Leave Clues episodes, because I'm gonna be talking about a lot of iconic people that you may not even know. You know what I mean? And some of you may know. You dig? But like I said again, success leave clues, man. So we got to learn from their successes, not just their mistakes. I want y'all to watch this over and over again and apply some of these clues into your life, all right? It's definitely yours truly, Liquid Cash. Listen, stay tuned for next week when I talk about Nas Escobar. Cheers. Cheers. If you like this episode and you would like to see more, hit the subscribe button and also leave a comment below. Don't forget to support the show, liquidcash.com. Check out the site. You might see something you like. Cheers.